Welcome to High Desert Highlights. I'm Peyton Thomas. With me, always, the great Madras point guard, Steele Haugen. And Steele, your alma mater, that's actually where we ended up sending you tonight.
Yes, it is. And if you haven't been in the Buffalo Dome for a basketball game, boy, is it a riot. A lot of fun. And it's so good to be back here with you, Peyton, for our second week of High Desert Highlights. And the White Buffalo squad, they've got some talent so far. And I'll tell you what, they came into this ranked number 8 in 4A. Staten ranked 3rd in tonight's matchup. Now, early in the game, this is John Buffalo Ball who nails the triple and celebrates a little bit there. Then it's Angelo Perez with a strong drive and finish. This time, the White Buffaloes get a defensive stop, finds an open man. Perez with the lay-in on the other end. Buffs, they feed it to the big man. Oh my, look at that spin move, Peyton Thomas. One more, look, that's pretty. That's Matthew Suppa-Scott. What do you think about that?
I thought he was about to hit him with the too small celebration.
Ooh, we should have. And there he is again, speaking of the too small. Can't stop Matthew Suppa, but don't let the Buffaloes get hot. That was Perez again. And 2 in a row, back-to-back, and then it's the big fella showing off his range. Suppa-Scott from downtown, fired up. Madras takes a 21-19 lead at half, and they upset the number 3 ranked State Eagles at home in the Buffalo Dome for a 44-40 victory. And guess what, Peyton? They are 11-3 overall this season.
Wow, 11-3. They're racking up the wins. And Steele, I know we were looking at that Madras schedule. That might be the biggest win they've had so far.
Yeah, and
huge result
Tuesday
there.
they beat Bend High, like
Yeah,
62-55.
that was big too.
That was a big one. And now this one, so they're on a roll, and league play is right here. What
All right.
perfect time.
I see you smiling for all those White Buffalo wins. All right, let's head out to Ridgeview for some fireworks. Last night, Trinity Lutheran up double digits on the 5A home favorite at halftime. That's before an explosive Ravens third quarter. Brady Muhlenberg finds a bucket with the contact. Ridgeview erased that deficit quickly and takes the lead. It helps when you get the 3-ball working.
Inside out.
Late in the third quarter, how about you just throw it up for an alley-oop? Why not? Everything going right for Ridgeview. Even a bucket in the final seconds of this quarter, forcing the turnover. Over the top for the easy layup. Ridgeview outscores Trinity by 20-plus points in that quarter alone.
That is impressive. To get that big of a lead, that just can secure your fourth quarter victory.
Well, into the fourth quarter, that foot stayed squarely on the gas for Ridgeview. Gavin Lunan, trifecta from the left wing. Trinity won't go quietly, though. A two-hand Andrew Imhoff slam starts the comeback.
Hello.
And then it's Chase Nichols who starts to find his range. This, the first of 2 back-to-back 3 balls. That puts the Saints back in striking distance.
You can't count out a dunk and a 3, and they're right back in this.
Well, Trinity cut this game back within 5, but it was swift shooting and defense from Ridgeview down the stretch that keeps them in front. Ravens avoid the upset scare, 63-54 at home over the 2A school, Trinity.
Yeah, and finally, we want to show you one play from Caldera.
God, this is a must-see from
Caldera.
tonight.
They're playing 10-2, 6A Westland, 76-76 with seconds ticking off the clock. Take a look. But there was still some time left. Here's Westland throwing up a prayer. No good. Upset at home. Caldera. They win this one at 78-76. And talking about biggest win of the seasons.
Biggest win of the season, biggest win in program history for the Caldera.
I think so.
Still, I think we have to go to the history books and take a look. You don't have to go that far back for Caldera, but man, when you talk about big Wolfpack wins, put that one up. I mean, that one's right up there. What a win for the Wolfpack. Here's tonight's 5A scoreboard from around the IMC, and Steele. Caldera not the only ones to get a win here tonight. Redmond on the road against Pendleton getting the win, and Summit the win against Churchill.
And that Redmond one too, that is a good win right there. And both Summit, the Redmond and Summit boys, they've both been pretty consistent, but looking for more consistency as they go through the league play. Now in Bend High, they also won a big game, 60-34 over Sweet Home tonight.
Really good night for the 5A boys team here on the High Desert.
with the win over Pendleton. The Panthers, they hold on to that top ranking in the 5A IMC rankings, 10-4 overall, number 4 ranked, and you can see right below them that number 1 ranking though by Caldera right behind them.
Yeah, Redmond Caldera are going to be 2 teams to watch coming over these next few weeks into league play. Let's head down to 3A though now, because if you thought that Caldera finish was great, the one in Sisters wasn't bad either. Check this out. The tie ball game, minute to play. Kieran Labarts, 2, takes the lead for Sisters. Cresswell doesn't take much time to match it, though. A drive and a bucket of their own knots things up again at 43. The Outlaws in need of a big play this year. It's often Landon Scott, and he does it again. The senior stutter steps in and tools it off the backboard. 2-point Sisters lead, 11 seconds left. Bulldogs ball, they inbound, looking for options. They shoot it out to the corner. Here's the shot, just in and out. A scramble for the basketball. 3, 2, 1, the buzzer goes. Now there's a long conversation between the officials about whether the buzzer actually went off. After that long conversation, it's Sisters with the huge home upset, 43-41 over the Bulldogs, who came into the building 11-3. The Outlaws now 9-6 on the year. What a win there on Sisters.
Yeah, and I was going to say that Cresswell was a high-ranked top 5 team, and Sisters gets it done.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to that. With that Sisters win, actually, the boys, they're second in league play in the Mountain Valley Conference. Yeah, let's take a look. Pleasant Hill, the Hillbillies, 13-3, number 2 ranking. And you can see that Cresswell right there, number 6.
Yeah, Sisters jump them with the league win, though.
Lapine, that's huge. 2-0 in league. I mean, that's big in the 3A division right there.
Yeah, Lapine near the bottom of that conference, looking to string some wins together. But, man, keep an eye on Sisters. Let's move over to the girls' side. A high-flying midweek matchup at Summit. The Storm welcomed 12-2 Henley to town. We start this in the third quarter, Summit up 2, and the right-hand drive from Jade Durfee makes the and one opportunity, and you know the sophomore is going to capitalize on that.
That's
steal.
And one. You make the free throw, and then the momentum is yours.
A few scores later, it's still a narrow Summit lead. Storm almost lose it, but eventually find a wide-open Rue Coates-Flaherty for the 3. Into the fourth quarter, Summit shots dry up, and after a handful of turnovers, it's Kaylin Christ getting the offense back into gear, and if it's working, why stop? A minute later from Christ again, same spot. She misses this shot, gets her own rebound, and then cashes in. Just a little practice.
She must practice that corner 3. If there was a 3-point contest, that is her shot guaranteed.
That's her spot. Cuts the Henley lead to a pair, but right down the floor, the Hornets pick up a huge and one play to swing the momentum right back for the Hornets. Summit now down into the final 2 minutes, but it's Christ again keeping them in it. This time she gets the inside game working, drives on that right side. Henley a 3-point lead into the final second. Summit has to foul. Henley gets some time off the clock, takes them to the line, but the Hornets, that one free throw makes it a 2-possession game, and they secure the win 53-49 on the road. Summit dropped to 11-4. Still a good year. That Henley team right up near the top of the 4A rankings this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And why don't we kind of switch gears a little bit? Actually, let's not switch gears. Let's talk about the 5A Intermountain Conference. Overall, Summit 11-4. No league games yet. Number 5, number 6, number 9. 3 top 10 teams right there.
Yeah, how about that? Keep an eye on those 3 teams, those girls teams on the 5A side. Summit 11-4, Redmond 8-5, and Caldera 8-6. Well, that's our hoops action. Steele, coming up after the break, you're going to take us to the mat.
To the mat, wrestling.
All right,
classic.
Coming up after the break.
Welcome back to High Desert Highlights. Tonight was a lot of fun, I'll tell you that. And
it was the start of some wrestling.
Yes, it was.
First wrestling coverage here on High Desert Highlights. Still, you headed out to the Oregon Classic. Tell us
Yeah, I
about
went to the
that.
fairgrounds in Redmond. The Oregon Classic is hundreds of wrestlers, just so many different teams from different classifications. And how this works, unlike kind of the state wrestling tournament where you might have just a hodgepodge of as many wrestlers as you can to kind of get as many points as you can, this is based on a dual style. It's your best weight versus their best weight, starting 106 versus 106, then 113, 113, moving all the way to the heavyweight. So it's kind of a very evenly our best versus your best, and we're going to see which one of our pound for pounds.
Steele, I know we're going to hear from one of the athletes in a minute, but what do you make of sort of the wrestling teams on the High Desert this year? Who should we keep an eye on?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not to spoil here coming up, but Crook County, the Cowboys, they look very good this year. Lapine, I'm pretty sure they have a few wrestlers who are looking for their 4th state champions. You got Bend, Mountain View, Redmond in the 5A division, and of course, the Culver Bulldogs in 2A, all very dominant, and I think they'll continue that trend this year.
All right, well, let's hear from one of the Crook County athletes at the Oregon Classic tonight.
The Classics, it's really all about bonus points, getting techs and pins, major decisions even, just wrestling your heart out and giving it all you can when you're out on the mat. We have a real dominant team, real good pinners. Everyone on the team is just so dominant at their weight. We have like 4 or 5 kids ranked number 1 in 4A.
And Hemphill, he went 3-0 with 3 pins today. He expects himself as a sophomore to be a state champion as well as the Cowboys as a team.
Wow. Well, these Classic championship matches, they finish up tomorrow, don't they?
They do. 6:15 if you want to see those championship. It's always a great time. We get trophies, plaques, everything.
All right, Steele. Well, we are entering into league play for the IMC next week, and we finish tonight with one of our games to watch for next week, and it's in 5A. Right now, the tough Summit atmosphere. Redmond on top of the IMC, getting ready to travel there midweek. What do you make of that match?
Yeah, and we were just talking about this a little bit as far as Redmond and Summit, and where are they really as far as how good they are? Are they a top 10 team, or are they title contenders for league play this year? I think this will be a real good tell on what it means for both of those teams.
Yeah, there are 3 different 5A boys games next Wednesday, all between Central Oregon teams. So far this year, we've had to talk a lot about comp wins from out of the league, but next week, that's when we get to really see and decide, watch those league rankings shift, and who's the best. Well, I'll tell you what, one of the teams that's certainly making their case for the best, Caldera. We got to see the play of the night one more time. That buzzer-beating shot from senior Miles Maycomer from Caldera, taking down the 6A school. Let's take it one more time. Yeah, and West Linn coming in with just 2 losses on the year. They're 12-2, so up near the top of the 6A rankings. I don't even think when the Wolfpack scheduled that game, they realized just how tough of a matchup that was going to be, and they came up to the challenge, and that's going to be a fun team to watch all year long.
And memories, storm in the court, wide out, that's just a lot of fun.
All right, we'll see if we have any buzzer beaters next week or any court storms. We'll see you then.